As you guys may or may not have known, I didn't present my speech 2 weeks ago. The reason being that I had a pretty bad stomach flu, and as I was kneeling on the bathroom floor, head hovered over a toilet, I got to thinking, what is it about vomiting that makes it so god awful? Now, even the word vomit just sounds vile, so I think it's safe to say that no one really appreciates how bad it is to throw up until the next time you do it. We know we've all been there, whether it's a result of sickness or just having a good night. Uh, we all know how horrible it is. Now, I thought the concept of vomiting was fairly simple. The body rejects, or the stomach rejects, that which it cannot digest. And yes, that is the case. And to answer my own question, vomiting is so awful because it's a mixture of food you've just ingested. It's a mixture of stomach acids, gastric enzymes, bile, and together they just create a nasty odor and just a nasty thing to see as well. I think it's appropriate to begin with the medical term and definition for vomit. Throwing up, as we know it, is medically known as emesis, and the definition of it is the forceful expulsion of the contents of one's stomach through the nose and or mouth. It's important to note that vomiting can be dangerous and maybe even deadly at times. Dangerous in the fact that if you are sick and you have vomiting constantly, what could happen is that your esophagus, parts of your esophagus may erode, or something else can happen. Vomit is highly acidic and it can cause the tissues in your gums to degrade. If either of these things happen, you might see blood when you throw up, and if you do, don't mess around. You go to the doctor. You get that checked out ASAP. Vomiting can also be deadly, usually when you've been drinking or if you're under anesthesia. I think some of you might have heard horror stories of drunk people dying as they lay on their back on a bed and they choke from their vomit. What happens when you're sober is that your gag reflexes and the ability to cough will stop you from choking on your vomit. It'll just bring it up as you usually would. But when you're drunk or under anesthesia, these reflexes are slowed down and relaxed. So if you've ever heard that someone can die from choking on their vomit while being drunk, that is not a legend. That is completely possible. If you see someone who's lying down like that, make sure you turn them over so that way when they vomit, it just comes out normally. On the contrary, vomiting can actually be helpful and can save your life. There are medical substances called emetics that are found in certain easily digestible products at home, like paint thinner and rat poison. These emetics will force you to throw up, so that way, if you drink, let's say, paint thinner, you won't die from it. You'll be forced to throw up before the body can digest it, hopefully. In case you ingest something at home that could be poisonous or toxic, there's some homemade emetics that you can make pretty quickly. You can drink salt water, which don't drink too much of it if you do because it's a health detriment of its own. But what works more is drinking mustard water. If you ingest something that's poisonous or toxic, take a swig of some mustard water and you'll throw up right away. Although your first option should be the old finger down the throat. I think that should help. But you have salt water and mustard water just in case. So I've hit you up with some pretty disgusting facts about vomiting, I know. I hope you guys aren't nauseated yet, but I'm going to give you one more interesting fact about the social history of vomiting. It's pretty common that if you see or hear or smell someone throw up, you tend to feel sick yourself, and some people actually throw up from seeing other people throw up. Okay, it creates a nice little chain reaction there, but there's scientific theory that states that that trait in human beings have actually evolved from when we were primates thousands of years ago. The theory is that when primates would hunt and eat together, if one of the primates felt sick and threw up, the other primates would huddle around the vomit and they would wait until they felt nauseous and then they would all throw up together. And it's actually a survival mechanism done so that the primates would be able to throw up the harmful substances that they believed might have made them sick or could kill them. So it's interesting to see how we've retained that all the way in 2010. So with all that in mind, I hope you guys learned something about emesis, or as we know it, throwing up. Yes, it is disgusting. It is embarrassing. For some males, it's emasculating. But it's something we all have to do, and it's something we all love to hate. So whether you're sick or you're drunk, happy puking.